The fact that I'm wearing a Groot shirt and a Batman belt kind of makes this Deadpool spoiler review, what the hell, Dave? You're supposed to represent. For your original Deadpool review, you had a Deadpool shirt on. What's going on? Alright, guys, that's fine. Better? What's happening, my film nerds? David the Film Junkie here, bringing you my spoiler review of Deadpool. Oh, I saw it again, guys. Saw it again. It was great. It was fantastic. And it was also so great that a couple decided to bring their, 1-year-old in a stroller to this fucking movie. What is wrong with you people? If you haven't seen my original review, it's on my channel. Go check that out. And like I said, this is going to be a spoiler review, so I'm going to talk about the movie. I'm going to talk about the greatness that was Deadpool. When critics were saying that this movie is a game changer when it comes to the superhero genre, they weren't kidding, even though there's those assholes that still was like, oh, it's the same old shit. First off, the opening credits was great. It's just great. They didn't have to see any names or anything. They were just poking fun at just everybody. They just poked fun at the little tropes that you're going to have. That sequence. I'm telling you, Tim Miller just knows. Tim Miller is the one that directed that Batman, I think it was Arkham Knight, I believe it was, where you see Bruce Wayne as a kid, you see the gunshot, then you see him learning karate and whatnot, you see just him through the ages becoming Batman. He's the one that directed that. So this guy just has some vision, man. So the opening sequence just panning through the pandemonium that's happening. It's just so great. You even see a little stab at Green Lantern. They couldn't use the actual Green Lantern because it's not their property, even though that would have been cool for DC and Warner Bros. To be like, there you go. Go ahead, make fun of it. We're not going to do anything else with it. We got a whole other thing brewing up. Then it flashes to just Deadpool in the taxi, which we've seen before. Funny shit. I love that they're pretty unlinear about it. And then I was even wondering, is he going to talk to the camera when he's sitting on the edge of that overpass? And sure enough, he did. And I love the fact it wasn't the same thing that was in that test footage, but of course it was similar, different song and everything. But I love that he right off the bat said who did he have to suck off or whatever to get a movie for himself, and it rhymes with Pulverine. That was great. That opening sequence was just fucking fantastic, with Junkie XL's soundtrack that was going along with it, and just everything that went with it. It was great. Yeah, you had the comedy within it. You had just great action, great special effects, and he's just knocking off people left and right. Just it's beautiful. But right in the middle of all that craziness, that pure beautiful craziness, they were flashing back to what led him here, what we see Wade Wilson before he becomes Deadpool, of course. And I love the fact that it kept doing that. It kept jumping back and forth, which is not, it's not relatively something different, but what else can you do? It wasn't just your standard, your freaking beginning to end. I love the fact that it didn't do that because it kept the pace going so well. If it did that linear beginning to end, the pacing probably wouldn't have done so well. So I'm glad that they did that. Part of me was kind of hoping they would actually go back even further when Wade Wilson was younger, but it's fine. It's fine. It was totally cool. I love how they established the character as he is a mercenary. He does get paid to clean shit up, but he's also doing it for the little guys. He's not doing the killings anymore. Kind of wanted to see some of that, but maybe they'll establish some of that in the next movie. But I like the fact that he was doing good for people, just for the little guy. He wasn't trying to be a hero, but he was somewhat trying to be a hero, I guess. And I love the narration, of course, from Deadpool, and then, of course, he's saying that it is a love story, and then he turns it oh, this is a horror movie. I love how he, changed it all up. It was pretty great. I love the narration of it, but yeah, the love story was actually really fantastic. Monica, whatever, Baccarat, I can never say her last name. Her character was great. She was witty. She was fast. The conversation, the chemistry between them two were great. You believed in it. And you can go, okay, I can see why he loved this girl, even though she's a hooker. Stops Wade in his tracks. Because he wasn't, you think he was looking for somebody and just found this hooker. And then when they just go through all the different sex scenes with all the different holidays, pure gold. Even the Happy Woman's Day, where apparently she put on a strap-on and he was the bitch. This, of course, leads to him ending up passing out, goes to the doctor, and then they say, yes, the cancer's spreading around everywhere. It's pretty quick, but they had to establish the story real quick, and not to mention, the budget was really tight. So he's down on his luck. He doesn't know what to do. He's trying to just remain the Wade Wilson that he is and just be sarcastic and all that, and he said he was going to leave because he didn't want her to suffer, because that's what cancer does. It's not only affects your body and kills you, it also affects the people you love. So when Creeper Mr. Smith shows up at the bar that he frequents. He basically tells them that they can make him better. He doesn't want to do it at first, but after thinking about it, of course, he just leaves in the middle of the night. That normal thing when I'm always thinking like, oh, in movies, every time I try to sneak out, if I was trying to pack, a person would fucking wake up. So he decides to do it. We meet Ajax, even though we already technically met him on the bridge because they keep going back and forth, which was great. When Colossus and Negasonic Teenage Warhead showed up, I loved the chemistry between all of them. I mean, some people were even saying that, oh man, Colossus was kind of a pussy, man. He was too much of a... No, he was being a good guy, and he was rough when he needed to be rough, and he was just a great counterpart to Deadpool's just raunchy humor. I mean, the scene when he's trying to punch him, and he punches him, and he's got broken wrists, and then he's got a broken ankle... That was belly laugh, pure like over like just like this, just yeah. I was laughing my ass off the whole theater both times, just laughing. That was probably my favorite scene of the movie. Of course, he's dragging him, and then he decides to cut off his wrist, and then he jumps off the bridge, and then the fucking hand is just left there like yeah. Pure Deadpool right there. Then it started getting a little serious when they were trying to activate his mutation, and it was pretty fucked up. It was pretty like, wow, this is torturous, like what they were doing to him. They kind of sped through it in a montage, but that last part, when he's in that tube and they're sucking out the oxygen where he barely like, the way they explain it just sounds horrible. To not be able to breathe, but it'll keep kicking in to keep you awake where you won't pass out. That is ultimate torture. If anybody just has a fear of drowning or claustrophobia, that scene even got me a little. Then, of course, the mutation takes over. He's pretty much been cured, but the cancer, of course, is within his skin, and his skin is constantly regenerating. That's why it's all fucked up. And we have that awesome scene where they fight each other, and you see Ryan Reynolds. Well, you see his junk. His scarred up junk. It's not like I was trying to look. Okay, I was. They just weren't holding back, and I was kind of like, Jesus. They're almost like showing from behind. So now it's a revenge story, and it's pretty fantastic. He wants to talk to Vanessa, but it's a pretty horrible scene, not a horrible scene, but like horrible for him, where he's walking down, he's got the hoodie on, but everybody's looking at his face and going like, what the hell, what is that? Jesus Christ. And he just wants to talk to his girl. He can't summon up the courage. So then of course he talks to Weasel, and we have that funny exchange. And I love how they picked out his name, because they had the Deadpool thing like on the bar on the chalkboard, and then he's all Captain Deadpool. I was like, oh, that's awesome. That sounds like a fucking franchise. See, I love how other characters too were like saying, hey, look, there's that guy over there. I think if you go talk to him, it'll further the plot. Just shit like that was great. One of the funniest lines too was on the bridge when Colossus like handcuffed him and was gonna, let's take you to see Professor. And Deadpool just goes, is it McAvoy or Stewart? These timelines are so confusing. Oh, I don't even think I caught that the first time because I think I was laughing at something else. The second time I caught that, and I was just like, this is just pure gold. So then we get another montage of him trying to find Francis, and I love that line too when he's still in the warehouse place or wherever, and he makes fun that he came up with his name because of the soap. That got like huge laughs both times when I was in the theater. It's just a funny scene. You see him develop his costume. I mean, it goes pretty quick. I mean, that's how fast-paced this movie was. It wasn't holding back. It wasn't trying to draw anything out. It was just boom, boom, boom. First, he's like all in white with like some goggles on. Of course, he gets all bloody, so he's in the laundromat, and we finally meet Al, and then she just gives him an owl-like response, even though she's blind. It's great. He figures out what's wrong with his mask. He finally gets the whole get-up. It's great. And the Zamboni part, that was funny. Guy's like crawling on his elbows, and then he's like, you're gonna get killed by a Zamboni. And then it's just little shit like that was just fucking funny. We get more of the exchange between Deadpool and Al, which was just great. It was perfect. They're just going back and forth. You love it because it's straight out of the comic books. And then with the hand thing, that was fantastic too. It was so creepy with the little baby hand, and then he's touching her face. And then I love the line like, I bet it feels huge in my hand, or whatever the hell he said. And I'm like, yeah, I bet it does. And then the poking fun at the studio for not having enough money, because every time he shows up to, of course, Xavier's house, even they made fun of it too. Negasonic Teenagers like, well, what's so good about being an X-Men, about living in a house that blows up every couple of years? Just stuff like that. And then when he shows up to the door and he goes, it's funny that you two are only here. It's like the studio couldn't afford any more X-Men. And I was like, man, it's just, I love all that. And then, of course, breaking the fourth wall and breaking the fourth wall inside the fourth wall, which is like 16 walls. That's pretty courageous. Then we get to the damsel in distress part. Of course, Vanessa gets kidnapped by Ajax, and then we get that whole rousing scene on a helicarrier. Did you notice that, guys? That was a helicarrier. They were trying to like pull things and little Easter eggs from the Marvel Studios universe, because they had the helicarrier, and then the guy Bob, when he was fighting everybody, he was like, Bob, is that what's going, when they're talking about TGI Fridays in Jacksonville, that was actually Hydra Bob, which is not owned by Fox, actually owned by Marvel itself, and they just kind of slipped it by. They didn't call him Hydra Bob, they just kind of just called him Bob. Snuck it in there. Good job, guys. You guys are creative. And the whole helicarrier thing, yeah, I didn't really notice that at first, but when I went the second time, my friend James was like, dude, is that the helicarrier? Is that the Avengers helicarrier? And we're like, yeah, probably was. And then all of a sudden there's concept art that came out and said, yep, it kind of was. They were just kind of, doing something because it's awesome. Why can't we get Deadpool? Just make a cameo in Infinity War. I love how you spelled out Francis' name like with all the dead bodies. That was great. And then, of course, he gets launched up there. Everything is funny. I mean, the fighting was just fucking awesome. There's a part where he just like throws Ajax's his axe right back at him, and then he does like a fucking roundhouse kick. I mean, the choreography, for having a limited budget, they did really well with it. I can't wait to see the sequel that has more money in that to invest in all this shit. The Hugh Jackman stabs were great when he takes off the mask to show Vanessa, and he's got Hugh Jackman's. I think I saw a picture with Rhett Reese, Rob Blah. Whatever, the creator of Deadpool. I can't remember his name right now. But they showed a picture, and they actually had that picture like hung up somewhere. So I'm wondering if that was always hung up and they were just going to use it for something, and they finally fit it in at the end where she takes off the mask and he's wearing a page with Hugh Jackman's face. I'm sure Hugh Jackman loved it, and I'm just going, okay, Deadpool better be in Wolverine 3. If he's not, people are going to mob. Secret scene at the end, I was like hoping for some Wolverine, but I loved how they did it. The Ferris Bueller secret scene at the end, post-credits scene, that was great. And then, of course, announcing that there is going to be a sequel and Cable is going to be involved with it. And it's just, God, it's just so great. So great. And I'm probably missed some shit. There's just so much to talk about with this movie, but I mean, just I think my favorite part that made me laugh the most was when he was trying to punch Colossus and he was just getting all fucked up. And there's just a lot of little things. I want to see it again because I'm sure I just keep missing little things, little Easter eggs, little like stabs at, breaking that fourth wall and being a parody and everything like that. It's just so good. So good. I can't wait for the sequel. But yeah, I mean, everybody's pretty much like, yeah, this is something new. It's something different. And then you got those assholes that are just always got to ruin everybody's fun and say like, oh yeah, well, they still have the same formula. But I'm like, what else can a superhero do besides revenge story, beat the bad guy, and rescue the damsel in distress? What else does he do? We'll see what happens in Deadpool 2. I'm sure there's going to be hopefully something with X-Force, everything. It's going to be great, guys. So there you go. There's my spoiler review. I mean, it's basically just talking about, I just love this movie. I cannot wait for it to come out on video. Definitely going to get it. And just can't wait to watch it over and over again. It's just a good time. So let me know your thoughts. What was your favorite part in Deadpool? Let me know down below in the balls area. I'd like to know. Let's talk about it, guys. And yeah, I got another video about Deadpool that's going to be another Why segment. Actually, probably possibly two videos. So look out for those. Thank you for watching, guys. Let me know your thoughts about everything, and I'll talk to you later. And thank you for watching, you beautiful people. You go ahead and hit that like, thumbs up button if you'd be so kind. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Subscribe to my other channel too. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Google+, and visit filmjunkie.com for all my videos.